Mr. My people, I get this shock of my life this morning. Shock of my life, and I won't get to it right now. What I want you to do is to listen to this video clip. And this is coming from the press conference that the PNP had yesterday, talking about local government. And then the Nationwide News Network reporter asked a bombshell of a question that trapped the PNP and show that for some strange reason, they refuse to issue words of rebuke to those two persons, the two risers who were in that group. Instead, then come with a Peter Bunting Machiavelli master stroke that would not have worked had George and Cliff Hughes know who them a deal with, but apparently didn't know. And I don't know if I can blame Cliff Hughes so much because it was George who bust out the thing and fell right into the trap that they had for him. But I'm going to let you listen to the conversation between, I think it's Siobhan and Nikisha Burchell. And I want you to listen good, And something else I want you to do for me. I want you to watch the reaction of the people behind Nikisha Burchell. For the most part, they were risers, but you have others that were there that were not risers. You have Natalie, you have the mayor of Port Maria, you have Swaby, and you have another one. No risers them, but watch them reaction. For some strange reason, Natalie's I them this a dance about the place, so they couldn't keep quiet in her head. And then you hear them say little things bad in the background. And they feel very uncomfortable, Lord. It look like them boot the dollar bun them man and this from one foot to the next. But you watch good. Now, when I heard the comment from Nikisha Burchell, I knew right away what she was up to and what it was she was fishing for. But I could have never imagined that George would have never seen it. It seems so clear, but sadly never see it at all. It looked like they were anticipating nationwide. And Bunting sent her out and tell her what to say, and she said it. And it was a perfectly laid trap. And poor George, sweet guy, but he fell into it.
Any other questions? Any questions online? Okay, we'll take a second question.
Okay, this is a tangent question, actually. In relation to this call about transparency and accountability, there is the matter of the leaked PNP voice notes. Have the officers of the party identified the individuals in question, and have those individuals faced any level of punishment, disciplinary action, and would you condemn what was suggested on those voice notes by those members, who I believe one was a councillor who suggested that through the local authorities they would essentially obfuscate or try to delay any aspects of NARA that could be of a benefit to the same people who you suggest should get benefits today?
Okay, well, the leader of the opposition spoke on this on Sunday. I believe you would have been privy to what he shared. What our internal workings have been is not for the public discussion in terms of how we are speaking with those who are in those conversations. What I think is instructive is that a certain media house decided to publish select voice notes from a chat they had access to, a private chat, and refused to share the other positions that were more in keeping with our stated public position. But we've become accustomed to the media house in question being very deliberate and skewed in how they report. But our position has been stated by the leader of the opposition, and we will not be speaking further on that topic.
So you don't believe what was said deserves some level of condemnation, because Mr. Golding did address it, but he did not condemn what was said in those voice notes, only to suggest that it is not the official position of the People's National Party.
Well, Mr. Golding is not here today for you to ask him further about his position, and so...
Which is why I'm asking your position, as in,
well,
would you condemn what was suggested in that voice note?
As I've said, the leader of the opposition has stated our position, on that topic, and that's the extent to which we're going to be speaking about that. What we would like to speak about is NARA and the very fact that months after Hurricane Melissa, many families remain under tarpaulin, while billions of dollars have been left in accounts to languish. What the PNP has stated from the beginning is that we want a reconstruction entity. We want an agency that is accountable, transparent, and open, and that is fair, and that gets to the people who really need the support. We've said from the beginning, and we're consistent with that, that NARA, as designed, does not breathe confidence. However, it has been passed into law. And so we will have to continue to do our responsibility as the opposition to monitor them and to hope and pray, as the many Jamaicans across the island hope that it will actually do good for the people who need the support. Any other questions?
Well, a follow-up to that statement then, based on what you've suggested here, would you then assure the people of Jamaica that no member of the People's National Party will get in the way of NARA doing that duty, considering what has been said in those leaked voice
Well,
notes?
the leader of the opposition was clear about the party's position on NARA. He actually named a representative to support us on the committee that manages NARA. Can't remember the name of it now. Jamrock, right. So it means, therefore, that we have a representative there who will share with the committee our position. The People's National Party has been at the forefront of getting relief to people in disaster. We have shown by our action, we have shown by our words and our public statements that we support any initiative that will get relief to families who need that relief. But of course, while protecting the interest of Jamaica and taxpayers' money. All right. That being so, thank you very much for joining us for this press conference. Please have a good day.
What we saw was an attempt to blame media, to blame a certain media house, I wonder which one that is, for publishing the comments. The opposition leader didn't condemn the comments on Sunday. Those gathered yesterday, including the one who commanded the floor, Ms. Burchell, did not condemn the comments, did not try to condemn the comments. But a fire was set, a fire was lit, and a certain media house was held over the fire for roasting. So the important thing for the PNP in this moment is to point out we have been victimized as PNP because these messages containing the authentic voices of officers of the party speaking the way they did, talking about besmirching the character of a gentleman, talking about delaying and employing delay tactics for something as important as NARA. That's not the injury, that's not the evil. That's not the fly in the ointment. The fly in the ointment is the media house who got hold of those voice notes and which chose to share them with the public. And she went further. She said we had access to their private WhatsApp chat. Yesterday at production meeting, we looked around in the newsroom and said, oh, which of you among us is the question I asked, has that access? And there was incredulity as people looked around and said, what? In the moment, people forget how media works. From the time media began, centuries ago, people have been getting information from people connected to a movement, connected to a group, who may disapprove of what the group is saying or doing and wants the public to know. And they share such information with media they trust to handle the information properly, because you could get something like this and mishandle it. And that's what happened. So the claim that the radio station, and it's us, of course, had access to their private WhatsApp chat as if we infiltrated it. Clearly, that's balderdash. What is also balderdash-esque is the claim that we cherry-picked which voice notes to play, as if they know that, we had access to everything and we only chose to play the only two bad ones, which is what she was saying, effectively. And also that we refused to play the ones that reflect the PNP's public comments on Nara. Refused means that we would have been asked by an entity or an officer of the party to share those publicly. And we said, no, we're not. Nobody has asked us to do that, and they couldn't ask us because we don't have any more. We played what we had. So to say that the media host refused to play the ones that reflect well on the PNP is, as I have described it, balderdash.
Georgie Porgy, man. I'm disappointed in you. Disappointed, I can't believe it. When I heard you this morning, I could not believe it. That you made Bunting play you for the fool. Hmm? It had nothing to do with you publishing it. They wanted information, George. They wanted information, and you gave it to them. A long time, we are warning and telling about Peter Bunting, He is a master manipulator and a master strategist. He has it both in one. And there are lots of things that happen in the PNP in 2020. And so we know him game plan. Just as I was about to start my video this morning on the conference that the PNP held yesterday, and the question that was asked of her, of the Nationwide News Network journalist Siobhan, I believe, Campbell or something like that. And I saw the cheap political play that Nikisha Burchell was at. And I meant to talk about it this morning and say, she's trying to get information out of Nationwide. They are at their wits' end. They wanted to know how much was leaked from that group. Obviously, if you're reading the room, George, it would occur to you that they were panicking. They were silent for as long as they were silent because they did not know what was leaked from the group, which ought to have told you something if you were paying attention, Mass George. But disappointing in you, man. We can't believe you make Bunting play this trick on you. They did not know what you know. They took this long to respond because they were going through looking for any damaging things that they may have said. You heard what Mark Goling said, George, and if you were paying attention, you would have realized that he said that the party officers were in that group. When he said that no party officer participated in that discussion, he meant to say party officers were in the group. And therefore, if you have a leaked piece of correspondence out of that group, they have no idea what else you have. And if there was nothing for them to worry about, then they would not be worried. So they desperately wanted to know what you know, how much information you had. And of all the things you said this morning, you had to open your mouth and tell them you had nothing else. How ridiculous can that be? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And then it is not a strategy that you're using at all. Because based upon how you were responding to her comments, it was clear that you never saw the play. Them had you on a string like a puppet, and you failed to recognize that you were being manipulated. And the one thing, them put out all of that information to find out, you went and handed them on a platter. For a journalist who is supposed to keep on the cards close to the chest, you went and blurted out the one thing them say all of those things to get from you. How much information you have from that WhatsApp group? Now them can breathe easy because you told them. You told them you had nothing else. You don't have the names of the persons who are in that group because every member of a WhatsApp group can have access to the names of those persons, including what is being said. So you don't know who were in the group. They didn't send you anything else about any other thing that was damaging by whoever them trying to target in that group. And you make them know. So you know what's going to happen now, George? Then when shut down the group and then when go through like a fine tooth comb, I suppose, and pick out those persons that think might have leaked it. And then start a new group and you will never get any other information. How dumb can that be? Huh? I can't believe it all now, George. Me can't get over it. When people are manipulating you, you're supposed to see it. You must be on the lookout. People are saying things for a reason. They wanted to know how much information was leaked from the group. If that is not evidence that they have been saying probably more, even more damaging things, particularly the party leader, Dayton Campbell, Bunting, the whole of them in there, I am sure it's not a PNP official WhatsApp group. So therefore, are sourcerizers in there because the hierarchy of the PNP are sourcerizers with the exception of two. So if them in a group, then it means this are sourcerizers in there. And if them talking the things that them talking in that group, then could never have certain people inside here. We sent to the WhatsApp leak from a group that they had formed in 2019, Rise United Strategists. And the intent of that group was to plot and plan what kind of ways in which them can take over the PNP. Information was leaked from that group too. And we send it, come give you now. And if you don't want to publish it, at least read and understand, no man. But you see, sometimes you people in the media, consider yourself journalists and everybody else, I don't know what. Not paying attention. Because we've been warning and telling that Peter Bunting is a master manipulator. And him get things done. Him throw scenarios out there and achieve whatever it is that he wanted to achieve, which is highly unusual. Most of the time when people throw things out there, they do not get the result that they want. Not this man. And so we have been watching him. And we have been watching him. And when we see certain play, we say, no, man, this is Bunting. And once we go out there and ball it out, it has to stop. Because he moves on stealth. Without stealth, and you not knowing that that is what he's doing, the thing is not effective. What him do and what him hope to achieve would not be achieved. You went and you told them that you have no further information. Why? Why? That's your choice, of course. But I should like to think that you don't want people to think that you are a kuno muno that can be manipulated. I was manipulated one time, when I was 23 years old. And I took an oath never to allow myself to be manipulated again. And so I'm always on the lookout. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's a problem. You weren't expecting it. You thought that that was an attack upon the station. It was not an attack upon your station, my friend. It was an orchestrated attempt to get you to say things that they wanted you to say. They have no means to get information out of nation. Why they goaded it out of you? And you fell for it? They must be drinking champagne and knocking fists and saying, PB, you're the man, PB, you're the man. You haven't lost it one bit. He has not lost it one bit. But be that as it may, however you came by that piece of information that you had, if it was deliberately sent to you, then chances are whoever it is that sent it to you, if they are indeed in that group, because it's possible that they are not, then they would have more information. You will get it in due course, I would expect. But it's a possibility that the leak did not come directly from that group. And I'm talking about the group that the comments were made in. But if it did, then there's every chance that more information is in that person's possession. So no, Bunting, no, don't breathe too easily, too soon. You know what that means, George? You know what that means? I don't have to say anything for them to know what to do. They will be hunting down that person to try and get that information. All thanks to you, of course. Because without you saying what you're saying, yes, they would have still gone after the person, but only to find out what you know. Now that you're telling that you don't know nothing, they'll be doubling and trebling and quadrupling them effort to find the individual, target them. And all that difficult to figure out, because there's just so many of them in the group, and there are just so many of them suspect, and they will know what to do to get the information and destroy it. And destroy it. They laid a trap for you, and you waltzed right into it. Right into it. Because you're a journalist and you're not paying attention. Peter Bunting is a student of Niccolo Machiavelli. He's a student of the art of war. These are the things him sit down and study. You need to go and read about these people, George, and you will know who you're dealing with. Not a nice person at all. Get a hold of the book called The Prince by Machiavelli, George. Get hold of that book and you will see exactly who Peter Bunting is. Your eyes will fly right open and you will see things that were happening and you will understand it better. And if you read the book already, George, read it again. This time, keep in your mind's eye Peter Murcott Bunting. And a whole lot of things that you are seeing will be made clear. Yes, George, yes. They now know where the goalpost is. They now know where to focus their attention. And they will be going after that information that the individual may or may not have. Yes. And I hope the individual is listening to this video and know what steps to take to make sure that they preserve the information. If them had that information for a reason and they don't want that reason to be frustrated, then they know what to do. Bunting is coming. The boogeyman is coming. Hide, my friend, hide. Look out for fake emails and fake messages coming from WhatsApp or any group telling you that you must put in your code or any passcode. Don't do it. Then we take over your phone. Watch them, my friend, watch them. Cyber attack. I understand from long time that they had a hacker in employ. Make sure you remove that information from your WhatsApp group. Whoever it is you're contacted, whoever it is you share it with, remove it. Change your phone. Watch out for things coming to your email. And they'll be using all kind of tactics. Don't be too surprised if things are up on them phone. To clone them. The people in the group who them suspect.
The opposition leader didn't condemn the comments on Sunday. Those gathered yesterday, including the one who commanded the floor, Ms. Burchell, did not condemn the comments, did not try to condemn the comments. But a fire was set. lit, well, a fire was lit, and a certain media house was held over the fire for roasting. So the important thing for the PNP in this moment is to point out we have been victimized as PNP because these messages containing the authentic voices of officers of the party speaking the way they did, talking about besmirching the character of a gentleman, talking about delaying and employing delay tactics for something as important as Nara. That's not the injury, that's not the evil. That's not the fly in the ointment. The fly in the ointment is the media house who got hold of those voice notes and which chose to share them with the public. And she went further. She said we had access to their private WhatsApp chat. Yesterday at production meeting, we looked around in the newsroom and said, oh, which of us among, well, which of you among us is the question I asked, has that access? And there was incredulity as people looked around and said, what? In the moment, people forget how media works. From the time media began, centuries ago, people have been getting information from people connected to a movement, connected to a group, who may disapprove of what the group is saying or doing and wants the public to know. And they share such information with media they trust to handle the information properly, because you could get something like this and mishandle it. And that's what happened. So the claim that the radio station, and it's us of course, had access to their private WhatsApp chat as if we infiltrated it, clearly that's balderdash. What is also balderdash-esque is the claim that we cherry-picked which voice notes to play, as if they know that, we had access to everything and we only chose to play the only two bad ones, which is what she was saying, effectively. And also that we refused to play the ones that reflect the PNP's public comments on Nara. Refused means that we would have been asked by an entity or an officer of the party to share those publicly. And we said, no, we're not. Nobody has asked us to do that, and they couldn't ask us because we don't have any more. We played what we had. So to say that the media host refused to play the ones that reflect well on the PNP is, as I have described it, balderdash. Ms. Burchell said that in trying to dodge the question, that it was instructive that a certain media house played some of the voice notes, or the voice notes that made the PNP look bad. But then again, it's in keeping with how this media house does its business, and skewed, she used the word skewed. Ms. Burchell, it's an oxymoron though, Mom. To say something is instructive means that you're getting new information or you're getting confirmation of facts. So how can it be instructive that the media house did this, yet you say, yeah, but this is in keeping with how the media house does things? No, that's oxymoronic. It doesn't make sense.
No, sir. From I was born. No, George. No, George. You yourself said it don't make no sense because it was never intended to make sense, my friend. It was never intended to make sense. It was only intended to get what them wanted from you, and you gave it to them. And there you were, George, throwing some punches and think you were scoring knockouts, when in fact, it was you that they had knocked out. You have been played, George. You have been played. And that's because you don't listen. We've been telling Uno for 5 years now. Don't fool around Peter Bunting. Watch him like a hawk. Don't play with that guy. And in as much as he manipulated you, Peter Bunting has the capacity to destroy you. Especially now that it is so simple to walk all over you and you fail to see. You could be a man of integrity, clean as a whistle, with nothing in your background, worthwhile putting out into the public. But not to worry. You don't have to have anything in your background for Peter Bunting. He can make up some stories for you. Oh, yes. Make up some stories, man. You only need to go up on some of the risers page and you'll see for yourself. Make up stories. We're not talking about propaganda. Propaganda is you taking the truth and spin it to achieve some end. Straight up storybook lies. Yes, man. That's why we over here call it the Bunting and Golding School of Underminers and Saboteurs. Maybe you should sign up, George. You might learn something from them. Never mind, George, never mind. We over here at 411 love you very much. Yes, we do. Tough love, they call it, but so be it. And if there is one thing that I know for certain, they will never be able to catch you again. No way. Well, folks, this is where I'm going to leave it for today. Please let me know what you think about all this. Yes, I'd love to hear. I want to thank you for joining me, for sharing, subscribing, and giving the video a thumbs up. Until next time, take very good care of yourselves and walk good.